Hi, welcome to Thomas Brown Coaching. Today I'd like to talk about how we can overcome patterns of negative self-talk and self-doubt and dwelling on things. It's an easy cycle to get stuck into, especially if we're starting something new. At the very beginning, we would normally go through a pattern of being really excited and being really interested in what we're doing and really getting into it. And then we will reach a stage where, and this can happen at different times for different people, where we start to doubt ourselves and we let our mind or our imagination kind of take over and how we talk to ourselves and how we speak to ourselves. And this can, as I said, can happen to anyone. It doesn't really matter what you might be doing, but when you might see what other people have already or where they're at and where you're going to, it can kind of set in and be quite destructive, actually. It is important, I think. I'm going to mention boundaries again. I talked about boundaries previously in other videos, and this can play a part too. And in respect to the other video I mentioned it was more about personal boundaries with people. In this respect, I'd like to talk about it with regards to our environment and what we let in, and what influences our thoughts. So one thing that, it's one thing that people don't normally discuss, I suppose, is our environmental what elements that kind of come in that influence our train of thought. That could be, let's say, it could be music. Music is a big one. It could be what we're watching on TV. It could be what we're scrolling on the internet, what we're browsing. If it has, let's say, a lot of negative content, and also social media, where people have kind of reached already and we compare ourselves to that. That can have a big influence on how we're feeling and how it can kind of stop us and bring us back and make us doubt ourselves that we cannot reach that part. But every start has a beginning, and we have to begin somewhere in order to get somewhere else. And instead of looking at, let's say, the big goal, what's in front of us, it's better to put in smaller, more attainable steps. And then the long-term goal is still in there. It's still something that we view, but we know that we have to take smaller steps first in order to reach it. And even have medium steps in between there. Something that we know we can reach, something that is attainable, and just to keep on doing it, to keep on progressing at it. Going back to, let's say, the negative environmental influences, to have ourselves, if we get to a level where we have gratitude, we have our strengths, to shut out or to minimize negative influences is important. So what we listen to, I said that at the beginning, if we listen to, believe it or not, if we listen to, let's say, lots of music that has negative connotations, and in the lyrics, we might notice it, but that would actually feed into our mood. Like, if you actually come back and observe how you feel before and after certain songs. Some songs lift us up, and some songs kind of bring us back down and bring us to a place that we want to be. So I found that it is almost important to observe our environment and to see how different things influence us and influence our moods. After let's say letting it in. So, we also might wake up in the morning and not be in a great mood. We might have a cycle of memories or just negative thoughts that we go through. But let's say if we wake up in the morning time, we're not feeling so well, what caused that? What caused your mood to change? And is it something that you can kind of observe from an objective point of view, what caused me to feel like that in the morning? After that song, what caused me to feel like that? Was it the song, or was it something else? After scrolling, or browsing the internet, what forced me to come back and bring me down? And to observe these things, it can bring you an awful lot of, knowledge, I suppose, to how it will affect you in the future, and how observing our thoughts and our thought process in those instances can help us move on, and to help us deal with these things when they happen. And not everyone will have a fantastic day where everything is working right for them. Some things might not be working so well, and to overcome the harder times, and to keep on trucking through it, is what can make or break. And I don't like using the term make or break, or make or break, or what's the other one? Yeah, there's another one there that'll come to me. There's another term, and I don't really like those. I think, the human complex is such a complex thing. The amount of emotions that we go through, and how we deal with different things in our environment and different people. And yes, if something changes our mood and brings us down, we should take note of it. I think it's something that we should get into the habit of. And also what brings us up, to take note of that as well, and to bring in more of that. And it'll definitely, by bringing in more of what brings you up, and the trigger that happens to bring you up is really, really, will be really useful for you going forward. A really useful tool, actually, is just to notice that, and to notice what brings you down, to sit back away from it and just view it and see what is that's causing my mood to change, or what's making me feel up or down or neutral today. I don't think a lot of people do that, and it's something that would be very useful, to observe that. Also, I think as well, and I've said this before, that we're awfully hard on ourselves, and we can be our worst enemy. I say that a lot. That negative self-talk can be very overwhelming at times, and can really debilitate us if we let it. And what I sometimes do, and the way I see it, when we talk to ourselves and we say these things to ourselves, you can't do this, you're not good enough, you won't do this, etc. Well, that's fear, That's fear kind of holding you back and keeping you safe. But to turn it on its head is, what's the opposite of those things, and to write them down. So the negative thought, I can't do that, changes to, I can do that. And people use those as like affirmations. That's what you could call them if you want. But it's a good way to turn it. Essentially it's your mind that's just saying those things. It might be other people outside of you, but if it's just your mind, it's something that you can control. You have if you allow yourself, you can have total control over that. And to change it, or to write down the opposite of what you tell yourself, and to read that out, is an interesting technique that could work for you. Another one is to how you view yourself, right? If you picture yourself as a kid, okay, that element, yourself, and then that element of your brain that says that to you as a child. If you were a person coming up to that, and if you came across someone that was talking to a child like that, how would you react? It's not okay to talk to adults like that either. So why should you talk to yourself like that? it's essentially you're bullying yourself. And why do you allow yourself to bully yourself? You know, it's just all about perspective and how we view it. And one tip that I would give would be to treat yourself like your best friend. You know, how do you treat your best friend? What makes that person your best friend in the first place? You know, you obviously have the qualities of a best friend if you have a best friend. You know, treat yourself like you would your best friend. Like, take yourself out, have a laugh with yourself. It's okay to laugh at yourself or laugh at your own jokes, you know, and treat yourself well, you know. Like, these are the things that we do for other people. We treat them well because we value them. And when you see your own value, your own self-worth, then treat yourself how you would treat a friend, and see yourself almost as a separate entity, if that makes sense. Yeah, like, I think that's an important element to it. If someone else was setting up something new or trying out something different, like, the best thing to do with that is to offer words of encouragement. Instead of telling them what they can't do, we tell them, you can do this. You're going to do great. You're going to do awesome. You're going to achieve these things. And we know words are very powerful, and positive words will definitely help your friend, and they will help you too. And if we dwell on things and we're full of self-doubt, that means that we stop. And what we want to do is just to make progress. You know, it doesn't have to be a massive step. It can be just little small steps, and keep on making those little small steps, and be kind to yourself along the way. You know, like, not everyone, you know, has the courage to do something different or do something new. And, you know, pat yourself on the back for trying something out, and to, you know, reach the level of happiness that you want, and to push yourself. You know, don't focus on what anyone else is doing. You know, the challenge is for you to challenge yourself. You're just challenging yourself constantly. And it's when we challenge ourselves in this way is when we create the best memories. The memorable ones, the more memorable memories are the ones where we went outside of our comfort zone, where we actually did challenge ourselves. And then we look back at it in a few years and we go, oh my God, I actually did that. You know, I actually did that. And that's where we want to go with it. And yeah, setting up environmental boundaries, like for music, for news even. Seeing all that negative stuff has an effect on our brain. Seeing what other people are doing and how they might be more successful. But at the end of it, you know, they were at the point where you are too. They just didn't stop, and they just kept going with it. And we reach a stage where we can either stop and give up, or we can just keep on going and keep on trying and keep on pushing ourselves. You know, people say that life is short, but life is actually, it's long. But it's what you do with it that counts, you know. It's short for the ones that are enjoying it. It can be long for the ones that aren't. So, like, do what you can to reach the kind of life that you want. And yeah, try to enjoy it rather than resist it. And do your best. That's all any of us can do. So yeah, I hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe. If you'd like me to talk about any specific topic, please mention it in the comments and I'll give it a shot. Until the next video, I hope you have a very nice day and a very nice week. Best of luck. Bye bye.